Welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the stories behind the most valuable pieces in numismatic history. Today, we're uncovering one of the most talked about and mysteriously valuable coins in recent memory, the legendary 1975 1 cent coin, a coin that under normal circumstances would seem utterly ordinary, a mere penny in the eyes of the public. Yet one extraordinary specimen has fetched an astounding $1.3 million, leaving collectors, historians, and enthusiasts buzzing with questions and curiosity. And in this deep dive we're going to explore exactly why this seemingly insignificant coin has become the subject of obsession, why errors and mistakes in its minting have made it so valuable, and what possibilities surround its rarity. But before we go deep, if you're passionate about numismatics or simply fascinated by how something so small can be worth so much, make sure you're subscribed and let's get into this jaw-dropping story, because the tale of the 1975 penny is more than just about metal. It's about human error, historical transition, minting anomalies, and the never-ending pursuit of perfection in coinage that ironically gives birth to imperfection, making the rarest coins all the more collectible. Now, what makes the 1975 penny so special begins with a historical context that numismatists are all too familiar with. The mid-1970s was a period of economic change and inflation in the United States, with discussions underway about changing the composition of coins to reduce costs, and this was particularly true for the Lincoln cent, which since 1909 had been made primarily of copper. But due to the rising cost of copper in the 1970s, the US Mint began exploring alternatives, and 1975 was one of the years where experimental and transitional coins were tested, though officially there was no major change announced that year, which is where the mystery deepens, because despite no official change to the composition or design of the penny in 1975, certain errors and anomalies have surfaced over time, and among them, a very specific 1975 penny is at the center of controversy and fascination. Now let's talk about the Denver Mint, the mint mark, because that's where this particular coin was struck, and although Denver was known for its precision and efficiency, mistakes can and did happen, and when those mistakes occur at transitional times or involve experimental plans, their value can skyrocket due to the extreme rarity and impossibility of replication. One such anomaly is a 1975 penny believed to have been struck on a leftover or experimental planchette, possibly aluminum or even a composition not used for pennies at the time, which alone would be an astonishing find because the US Mint officially ceased aluminum cent production experiments in 1974, and all known examples were meant to be destroyed, yet the possibility remains that a stray planchette or an unaccounted test strike made its way into circulation, perhaps by error or oversight. And what's even more interesting is that any aluminum cent in private hands would technically be illegal to own, which further drives up the value and secrecy surrounding these coins. But aside from composition, there are more noticeable and verifiable errors that have pushed this particular 1975 cent to legendary status. Double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, misaligned dies, and even RPMs, repunched mint marks, are all types of mint errors that collectors prize, and in the case of the $1 million coin, it is believed to feature a dramatic double die on both the obverse and reverse sides, with Lincoln's bust, inscriptions like "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and the date 1975 showing unmistakable doubling under magnification, along with clear signs of machine doubling which add to the complexity and uniqueness of the coin. And when you flip it over to the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is said to show multiple lead impressions, a phenomenon that is extremely rare, and further analysis by experts reveal die cracks and cuds, those raised lumps of metal that occur when part of the die breaks away during striking. And these kinds of errors show not just that the coin was part of a faulty production batch, but that it likely passed through multiple stages of error without being caught by quality control, making it all the way into circulation or private hands undetected. Another factor contributing to its value is the sharpness and clarity of these errors. Often, error coins are damaged or worn in circulation, which reduces their value, but this coin reportedly remains in uncirculated or mint state condition, preserving all its dramatic flaws in pristine detail, further increasing its appeal to top-tier collectors who are always on the lookout for mint state errors with eye-catching features. And then there's the mystery of provenance, because where the coin came from, who first discovered it, and how it changed hands also plays into the perceived value. Auction houses thrive on a good story, and a penny pulled from pocket change that turns out to be one of a kind with errors never before documented is the kind of tale that drives competitive bidding into the stratosphere. And let's not forget that numismatic value isn't always determined by rarity alone. Sometimes it's the combination of historical intrigue, technical anomaly, aesthetic uniqueness, and market hype that pushes prices beyond imagination, and in this case, with only one such coin publicly verified, authenticated, and sold for a staggering sum, it's no wonder this particular 1975 D penny has earned a place in numismatic lore. But there's also the factor of time. Many rare coins take decades to be discovered and properly recognized. And with more advanced diagnostic tools available today like scanning electron microscopes, digital dye comparison, and X-ray fluorescence spectrometry, more and more previously overlooked coins are being re-evaluated, and it's entirely possible that more examples of similar errors from 1975 remain hidden in personal collections, drawers, or even old coin jars, which only adds to the excitement and the treasure hunt aspect for collectors. And because of this potential, demand has exploded not just for the confirmed million-dollar penny, but for all 1975 D pennies with unusual traits, spawning a surge in submissions to grading services like PCGS and NGC, where hopefuls are trying their luck to see if their seemingly ordinary penny might hide extraordinary value. And the ripple effect this coin has had on the hobby is substantial, with forums and YouTube channels now brimming with amateur numismatists examining their change with loupes, hoping to find their own golden ticket. And while most won't strike it rich, the educational value and passion it inspires are undeniable. And that's what makes this story so powerful. It's not just about a coin, it's about possibility, the romance of error, the chance that lightning could strike twice, and the enduring allure of finding value where others see none. And as the story of the $1.3 million 1975 D penny continues to circulate in collector circles, its legend only grows, driven by mystery, rarity, and a tangible connection to history through the tiniest of objects. And whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer just discovering the thrill of coin hunting, this tale reminds us that incredible value can sometimes be found in the most unexpected places. So next time you see a penny dated 1975 with a tiny D under the date, take a closer look. You never know what secrets it might hold. Next! Today we are diving into the astonishing story of a single coin, a seemingly ordinary 2003 Lincoln 1-cent piece, that shocked the numismatic world by being valued at an eye-watering $52,728, not because it was made of gold or encrusted with jewels, but because of a series of fascinating and rare minting errors and mistakes that turned it from pocket change into a piece of history worth big money. And trust me, you'll want to check your own collection after hearing what made this coin so special and how it went from the bottom of someone's change jar to the top of the collector's charts. So let's break down exactly what went wrong and what went oh so right for this 2003 cent to command such an extraordinary price at auction. Because first and foremost, you have to understand that errors in minting are generally caught quickly, with modern quality control systems designed to prevent flawed coins from slipping through. But every now and then, something goes unnoticed, and when that coin makes it into circulation or survives in uncirculated condition, collectors take notice. And in the case of this particular 2003 penny, it wasn't just one small anomaly, but rather a bizarre and almost unprecedented combination of mistakes that compounded its value exponentially, starting with a dramatic off-center strike, meaning the coin was not aligned correctly when it was struck by the die, resulting in the image and text being pushed significantly toward one side, leaving a large crescent of blank copper on the opposite edge. And while off-center errors are not unheard of, the degree of misalignment on this coin was far more severe than usual, creating a highly visible and dramatic effect that immediately catches the eye of experienced collectors. And to add to that, the coin also featured a double die obverse, which means the die that stamped the front of the coin had a slight misregistration during production, creating a shadow-like doubling effect on the date and lettering that's especially noticeable on Liberty and In God We Trust. And such doubling is highly sought after, especially when combined with other errors. And as if that wasn't enough, this particular penny had a rare planchet anomaly, which means the blank metal disc used before striking was flawed to begin with, in this case showing signs of improper alloy mix, giving the coin an unusual surface texture and subtle color differences when examined closely, possibly due to inconsistencies in the copper plating over the zinc core, which not only adds to the uniqueness but also further verifies its production error origin. And moving beyond these more visible issues, experts also discovered that this coin had minor but collectible die cracks, where the pressure of repeated minting had caused tiny fractures in the die, resulting in raised lines across the coin's surface, typically seen running across Lincoln's bust or near the rim. And while such cracks are small, When present on a coin already riddled with more dramatic mistakes, they become part of the overall error package that makes the specimen a numismatic unicorn. And interestingly, there's also speculation that the coin was part of a transitional batch, potentially struck using a slightly outdated die or planchette stock from a prior year. A theory bolstered by microscopic metallurgical analysis that showed inconsistencies with other 2003 cent compositions, possibly indicating leftover blanks from 2002 or early production mishaps that weren't documented officially. And while such theories are hard to prove without mint records, they add an element of mystery and intrigue that drives up collector interest. And all these features together, off-center strike, double die, planchette anomaly, die cracks, and possible transitional elements, combine to form the kind of specimen that collectors dream about, because in numismatics, the value of a coin is not just about rarity, but about the story it tells, the odds it overcame, and the uniqueness of its features. And this coin checked all the boxes, making it a hot commodity at high-end coin auctions, where bidding wars are known to erupt over coins with this level of complexity. And let's not forget that provenance also plays a role, as the coin's discovery story adds human drama to the mix, with reports suggesting it was initially found by a hobbyist going through rolls of pennies from the bank, proving once again that treasures still lurk in everyday circulation and that patience and a keen eye can pay off massively. And once it was submitted to a major grading company, it was authenticated and slabbed as a mint error of significant value, receiving attention not just from casual collectors but also from serious investors and museums looking to add a truly unique piece to their holdings. And when it finally went to auction, experts estimated it might bring in a few $1,000s due to its multiple anomalies, but the bidding quickly escalated as multiple collectors recognized just how rare it was to find so many high-tier errors on a single coin, especially one from a relatively recent year like 2003, and the final hammer price of $52,728 stunned even seasoned numismatists, setting a record for modern Lincoln cents and sparking renewed interest in post-2000 pennies, which are often overlooked in favor of earlier wheat and Indian head cents. But this sale proved that even newer coins can hold astonishing value when the right mix of mistakes aligns, and it sparked a wave of renewed activity among roll searchers and amateur collectors, with thousands of people now rechecking their jars, drawers, and rolls for error coins that might have gone unnoticed. And it also raised interesting questions about how such an egregious combination of errors could have made it past the mint's quality control process, with some experts suggesting it may have occurred during a shift change or in a facility experiencing high production pressure, allowing the faulty coin to escape unnoticed. And the story of this coin is not just a tale of missteps, but a perfect storm of minting mishaps that transformed a 1-cent piece into a 5-figure collectible, offering a powerful reminder that in the world of coins, attention to detail can yield extraordinary rewards, and that every error tells a story worth uncovering. So next time you get a penny in your change, take a closer look. You never know if you're holding the next record-breaking mint error in your hand. And that's why collectors are now more excited than ever about not just old or silver coins, but also modern coinage that can, on rare occasion, yield something this spectacular, because the thrill of discovery is alive and well. And who knows, your next big find might just be sitting quietly in your coin jar, waiting for you to notice the subtle curve of an off-center strike, the soft doubling on the date, or the strange texture on the surface that could mark it as a coin worth tens of thousands. And we hope this incredible story has inspired you to take a fresh look at your own collection. And if you enjoyed learning about the astonishing journey of this 2003 Lincoln cent and the jaw-dropping value it achieved thanks to its perfect storm of errors, be sure to stick around, because we've got even more amazing coin stories, rare finds, and valuable tips coming up right here on the channel. So until next time, happy hunting, and may your next coin be the one that changes everything. Today we're diving into the remarkable story of the 2001 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that currently boasts an astounding market value of around $2,415. Imagine holding what normally trades as a penny yet commanding over $2,000 simply because of a series of manufacturing slips that make it virtually unique. Today we'll unravel every nuance of its creation, the technical errors at the mint, the varieties of mistakes that appear on the coin, how collectors discovered and authenticated it, and why they prize this error so highly in the realm of numismatics and coin collecting worldwide. Picture yourself as a curious viewer drawn into the world of minting anomalies, intrigued by how a tiny planchette error, a misplaced die inscription, a double strike or off-center impression, or maybe a missing mint mark can transform what would be just a routine cent into a phenomenon. We begin at the Philadelphia Mint in the year 2001 when the Denver branch produced Lincoln cents with the familiar Memorial reverse and Lincoln obverse, but one particular specimen emerged with subtle yet unmistakable anomalies. First, the Dth mint mark appears unusually raised and slightly misaligned to the right compared to standard 2001 D cents, suggesting a hubbing error in the creation of the die that struck this coin. Experts believe that a repaired or misaligned die was used, leading to the mint mark being struck too deeply into the die and causing a filled die appearance that yields a heartier, more pronounced mint mark than normal. Additionally, upon close inspection, the fields on either side of Lincoln's bust show faint die polishing lines inconsistent with mass production dies, suggesting that the die had been lightly retooled or received extra hand polishing. This polishing removed some of the intended detail, creating an oddly glossy field with slightly weak design elements around the letters Liberty and the date 2001. That weakness gives the surfaces a distinctive look that differs sharply from typical Lincoln pennies, making it possible for collectors to identify it at a glance. Further compounding its rarity, the coin also exhibits a doubled ear effect, very faint doubling on Lincoln's right ear that is not found on normal 2001 D cents, implying that a misaligned hub impression occurred during die creation, resulting in a doubled image only visible under magnification. That subtle doubling elevates its classification into an error variety known among advanced collectors as a double die ear variety. Meanwhile, on the reverse, the wheat stalk reverse or shield reverse, depending on mint specification, but in 2001 the shield reverse was standard, may show evidence of uneven die grease or clashing that yields faint die clash remnants. You can see ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's bust faintly impressed on the field behind the shield because accidental die contact occurred before any coins were struck, leaving residual relief impressions. Those clash marks, while subtle, add chronological and technical interest and are carefully documented by graders. Combine these unique mint mark misalignment, double die ear, filled die appearance, faint polishing lines, die clash remnants, and the overall limited quantity, inking or pressing potentially only one planchet through that anomalous die before it was caught by quality control, and you have a coin of extreme scarcity and scholarly interest. In fact, coin grading services have certified only a handful, perhaps fewer than 5 examples of this specific error variety, making it practically unique. As a result, auction results have soared. Recent sales in collectible auctions or private sales show bids closing around $2,400 to $2,500, with the particular example graded at MS65 with full mint luster commanding nearly $24.15 USD in early 2025. Collectors recognize the coin's value rests not only in its rarity but in the traceable series of production mistakes. Each anomaly tells part of the story of defective die preparing, unintended polishing and hubbing, and the rare window before the error was identified. Some pieces even show elements of off-center striking by a millimeter or two, but the most precious specimens are those nearly perfectly centered with just the right combination of mint mark misplacement and subtle doubling. Beyond the technical reasons, the coin story fuels its value. A popular YouTube video from a respected coin expert triggered awareness in 2024, when a collector submitted an anonymous scan of what looked like a normal 2001 D cent for grading and was astonished to receive the error designation. That video prompted a surge in interest and a scramble to locate any other examples. To date, none have surfaced in circulation or online auctions, meaning only the initial certified examples are known, and provenance has been established through meticulous certification records and detailed photos from grading labs. This provenance contributes heavily to the collectible community's willingness to pay thousands of dollars for a 1-cent coin. Additionally, the historical context plays a role. The 2001 cents are otherwise extremely common, billions minted, so the idea that a solitary mint error among all those coins creates a single scarce variety is compelling. The contrast between its everyday face value of 1 cent and actual market value exceeding $2,000 is part of the fascination. We also explore what possibilities lie ahead. As grading populations remain stable, demand from error coin collectors continues to grow, so future prices could rise further, potentially doubling with new discoveries or celebrity auctions. Should a specimen in higher grade than MS65 appear, or perhaps someone find an example in a pristine state with full details and sharper doubling, that coin could exceed $3,000 or $4,000 easily. There's also speculation about whether more examples may be hiding in older coin albums or circulation. Some believe that amateur collectors, unaware of the variety, may have stored one away for years. If another specimen surfaces and is verified, the market could shift. Sometimes 2 examples of an error reduce rarity appeal slightly, but if the second coin appears in dramatically higher grade, it may still drive overall interest and prices up, much like the 1955 double die cent. Speaking of parallels, the 2001 D-cent error category joins a pantheon of famous 1-cent mistakes. The 1955 double die and 1969 S double die with missing mint mark represent well-documented varieties that trade for tens of thousands of dollars in high grade. While the 2001 D is newer and less historically iconic, its extreme scarcity and compelling technical profile position it to become the next marquee penny error story. Its value is underpinned by careful documentation, expert authentication, rarity, technical complexity of the error, and collector demand. If you're an active collector, hunting through circulation or batches from coin rolls or bank finds might yield a surprise, though after so many years, odds are slim. Still, worth inspecting any 2001 D cents in high grade or with subtle mint mark anomalies using magnification and professional grading. Summing up, the confluence of misaligned and raised mint mark, double die ear, filled die characteristics, die polishing evidence, clash marks on the reverse, and the singular known specimens backed by certification makes the 2001 D 1 cent a marvel in error numismatics, and justifies its lofty estimated value of around $2,415. Thank you for joining us in this deep dive into how mint mistakes can transform a single penny into a treasure worth thousands.